Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This translates as in the name of God, the Lord, in the name of God, the most bountiful, the Lord of mercy, the most merciful. I am a Muslim. I'm not sure if I'm going to be starting each video like this. It's really irrelevant. It's not too big of a difference, but uh, wanted to let y'all know because my faith does play a role in treating and as a kind of therapy for my situation. I have type 1 diabetes, bipolar disorder, hypothyroidism, and OCD. Also I would say, I haven't been formally diagnosed, but some anxiety, social anxiety. Anyways, the topic of this video are things that I'm trying to do to help myself, and I don't want this to be the focus on me, but I'm hoping that by sharing some of the things that I do, that maybe it can give y'all some ideas that could help you out. Maybe you can implement some of the things that I'm doing and see if it helps y'all out. So I'm gonna start with faith. I think faith in God for myself is really important. Now, I'm not saying everyone needs to be believing in God and, but at the same time, this is going to now contradict myself. I do think that people should understand that God is truth. So if you believe in truth, if you believe in the oneness of creation, that's essentially you're believing in God, right? It's essentially the same thing. But I don't now want to make this like some philosophical conversation or debate or whatever. And well, the point is that it helps me because as a Muslim, I try to pray 5 times a day when the prayers are called. I have my phone as a reminder. They give me reminders. And I think this helps develop consistency, some discipline, also a connection with God, helps me be more thankful. I try to thank God for what I have, because a lot of times I start getting into this line of thinking of what I don't have, wishing for things I don't have. Oh, I wish I want a girlfriend, or I want a woman, or I want this, or I want that. I want a job. When really I want to be in school, I want to make money, and it's like right now it's just not the time for it. I think right now the time for me, having a hard time speaking. It's time for me to open up about some of what I've been through, what I go through, with my intention being to help as many people as possible. If it's one person, that's thank God, alhamdulillah. That means thank God. Thank God, that's enough. If it's more, thank God. So anyways, some of the things that I do. One of the things I do, like I said, is the 5 prayers, and I think that, strengthens my faith, strengthens me as a person, and does make me stronger. Now, I'm not saying that now everyone needs to be going to pray 5 times a day, because I know that not everyone, to each his own. Each person is going to have their own way. Each person is different. But each person has their own, religion. Some people's religion is exercise. They have to exercise every day at a certain time, and they do. So I think developing some sort of routine that you can do throughout the day is helpful. It's helpful, and to me it just makes sense. Like, I know I'm gonna die one day, so I prepare for my death. I prepare to meet my maker. Anyways, so that's one thing. And that covers a lot of different areas, right? It's not just spiritual, there's also the practical element. There's also the element of going to the mosque, the social element, so being around people. Sometimes I don't like to go to the mosque sometimes because I don't like being around so many people. Sometimes people say things to me, you're not doing this right, you're not doing that right, but I still go. I still try to go, I should say. I just try to go because sometimes I don't. God forgive me, but sometimes I don't. So that's one element, faith, and the components of it, and practicing a faith. It could be very helpful. I've found it to be helpful for myself. It's given me also identity and also slowly building my confidence within myself and within God, as I see that God does provide. God is always providing for me, for us, for those who believe in Him. Anyways, that's one area. Another thing that I try to do every day, a friend of mine had told me about. It's an app, and I think you can also get it online. It's called Headspace. So, like my head and then space. It's all one word. Headspace.com. And what it is it's a mindfulness exercise. So what you do is you do that. It takes 10 minutes of the day, and you just do it 10 minutes a day. And once you've done the first 30 sessions, then there's all these other, like they call them packs, that you can unlock to help increase your focus, help deal with depression, help with, happiness, creativity, whatever. I'm not saying it's like some cure-all, it's not, but it's just another little piece of the puzzle. I guess what I'm trying to show here are pieces to a puzzle, because that's what I feel like my life is, and maybe you feel like your life is like that too, pieces of a puzzle. You're trying to put things together. Especially after, a person has been through, traumatic events. Okay, so that's another thing. Another thing I do is another kind of meditation. It's a mantra meditation where I repeat the same thing for 10 minutes. And it's the one I do is called a zikr. And in Islam, they say that the remembrance of God brings peace to the heart. So for 10 minutes I say in Arabic, La ilaha illallah, which means there is no God but God. And I repeat this 10 minutes. So, like I said, it's not to put the focus on me, but this may be beneficial to you in some other way. You may find another mantra meditation that you like to do, and you repeat it to yourself for 10 minutes, and it builds that, whatever you're trying to build, that connection to God, the connection to that positive energy, to the light, whatever you want to call it. Right? Because it's all the same thing in the end. It's all like essentially it's all pretty much the same. If you're trying to reach light, you're trying to reach towards, truth, towards oneness. You're trying to reach towards God. Because I feel like I'm trying to bring myself out of darkness into light. Right? Okay, so that's another thing. Another thing I think is important for people with mental disorders, and I think, like I said, these are all things that we know, but these are just reminders. Maybe this is just a reminder, is to get to sleep early. For me, the first prayer is at 6 in the morning, so I make sure to get to sleep. I try to get to sleep early enough, and that's been a huge struggle because I have a really hard time falling asleep. So sometimes I won't fall asleep until like 11, 11:30, 12, sometimes even later. And by the time I wake up, I've gotten so little sleep the next day I'm like a zombie, like my brain's not even working. So sleep is important, and I had talked to who I'm seeing, the physician assistant. She's really good, and she was telling me the importance of sleep and things like that. Another thing is, I think we should try not to take so much caffeine in. Maybe 1 or 2 cups a day is enough. But I notice when I drink caffeine, I can start feeling not only jittery, but like maybe what would be called, I think, a hypomanic. I start feeling just like a little bit crazy, like a little bit like not right, you know. So I'm thinking about just cutting caffeine out altogether because it does not seem to do me good. And then walking is good too. I try to walk every day or almost every day, and I think walking is good, especially if you can walk in nature. And because I think walking in nature, there's something about it, just doing it enough times. Nature has a calming effect. Same thing with walking, because walking is a slow exercise. You know, you're catching your breath. You're just, you know, relaxing into the environment. That's the idea. And the environment, if it's nature, is a peaceful one. In a way, it's, you know, it's peaceful. So what else? What else? What else? What else? Exercise. I mean, sometimes I also do heavy exercise. I think that's also beneficial to people who have disorders. You know, heavy exercise is great because not to do it all the time. That's my problem. I burn myself out. I do too much, and then I'm just like, oh, screw this. I don't want to do this anymore. But you know, from time to time, when you're up for it, it's good. Do some heavy exercise. It'll make you feel better. I don't know really what else. You know, eating healthy, trying to eat good meals. I mean, eating healthy, I mean, today, like, I think it's kind of been